Hi, Amazing. Welcome you to the editorials. We are broadcasting live from Canada. My name is Sandra Asante. Today we'll be drawing more light on the effect of Ethiopia's crisis on Syria, as well as the whole U-turn to stop Mogadishu clashes in Somalia. I'll take a commercial break. Stay tuned. You're welcome back from the break. We'll start with the Ethiopian crisis, and Jeffrey Feltman, the new American envoy to the Horn of Africa, faces a cascade of overlapping challenges in the region. The Biden administration this month brought Jeffrey Feltman, a seasoned former senior U.S. and United Nations diplomat, out of semi-retirement to assume the newly created role of Special Envoy for the Horn of Africa, where multiple crises threaten to unravel the entire region. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken on Friday formally named Feltman to the post, where he will become Washington's lead troubleshooter for the deadly conflict in the Tigray region of Ethiopia that have sparkled a massive humanitarian crisis and widespread allegations of war crimes. Feltman, in his first interview since being tapped for the post, told Foreign Policy the conflict has the potential to spiral into a full-fledged regional crisis, citing a comparison to the war in Syria. Look at what the collapse of Syria and the chaos of civil war has meant, he said, citing the refugee crisis, its impact on Europe, as well as the rise of terrorist groups in the power vacuum from the collapse of a country that had led pre-war population of 22 million people. Ethiopia has 110 million people, he said. If the tension in Ethiopia would result in a widespread civil war that goes beyond Tigray, Syria will look like child's play by comparison. Feltman, a long-time diplomat, heavy hitter in USA and UN policy circles, is no stranger to crisis diplomacy. He served in a variety of posts across the Middle East, including the U.S. ambassador to Lebanon from 2004 to 2008, which encompasses the 2006 Lebanon War. From 2009 to 2012, he served as the State Department's top envoy for the Middle East, including during the Arab Spring. Later, as a top official at the UN, he traveled to North Korea to negotiate with Kim Jong-un at the height of U.S.-North Korean tension of Polygony's nuclear weapons program. But his new task is daunting. There is the conflict in Tigray and the question of Ethiopia's border stability. Neighboring Eritrea's military intervention in the Tigray conflict, with its troops accused of widespread atrocities and human rights violations, it's only complicating in the solution. Sudan, meanwhile, is struggling with a fragile and uncertain transition to democracy after the 3 decades under democratic rule, and it is contending with a border dispute with Ethiopia that could sparkle a separate conflict between the two countries. There is still a political and security crisis in Somalia, and all this while Ethiopia, Egypt and Sudan are in the midst of a year-long dispute over the massive Ethiopian dam on the Blue Nile that the former US President Donald Trump's administration clumsily tried to mediate. I am intimidated by the challenge of it. It is a complex part of the world with a lot of overlapping crises happening at the same time, but it is also extremely important strategically for the US, for our allies, our region, Feltman said. In terms of our immediate focus, without question, there has to be attention paid to Tigray, he said. He added that other leading priorities were Ethiopian-Sudan border dispute and attention over the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. Feltman said he would be traveling to the region fairly soon, but declined to give specifics. So now let's go to Somalia. Somalia's president have moved to ease tension in the capital, Mogadishu, by calling for fresh presidential polls. Mohamed Abdullahi Mohamed, better known by the nickname Farmajo, has said he will no longer seek a 2-year extension to his term in office. He had controversially approved the move last week after disagreement over how to hold elections. But it has provoked 3 days of clashes in Mogadishu between rival factions of the security forces. There are fears the row could see Somalia lurch back forward, the clan-based violence that skirted the country after the fall of the Said Barre regime in 1991. Forces loyal to the president and those back in the opposition have been occupying different parts of the city. The UN says between 60,000 and 100,000 people have left their homes since Sunday. President Farmajo's late-night address on Tuesday has not appeased everyone, and some opposition fighters have vowed to stand their grounds, saying they remain worried to his promises. The reaction from civil society and opposition group in Mogadishu suggests that they welcome the retreat, but everything else that brought us to the brink of civil war crimes remains. Somalia academic Abdi Samata from the University of Minnesota told BBC Focus on African Radio it does not advance the negotiation process any further than we have engaged in over the last 3 months, he warned. So now let's look at the reasons why elections can be held in Somalia. Somali's elections are conducted under a complex indirect system where clan elders select MPs who turn to choose the president. President Farmajo's mandate expired in February, but no vote has been held because of regional squabbles over how power is distributed and a row over a new election commission. Professor Somata says the negotiations over how to proceed with elections hinge on 3 issues, and these 3 issues are laid below. President's Farmajo role in the process, some opted to him having a hand in overseeing it and also being candidate. One of the reasons is the role of the security forces. Some feel President Farmajo has not ensured that they are non-partisan, and the last reason is ensuring that the election commission is neutral. Somalia has been torn by conflict for decades, but has been moving towards stability since 2012 when a new internationally backed government was installed, helped by the African Union force providing security. The UN Security Council said on Friday that the political deadlock was diverting attention from serious problems including the coronavirus pandemic, a locust invasion, and Islamist militancy. Al-Shabaab fighters continue to control the vast swaths of territory outside the capital and frequently attack Mogadishu. So this is where I end the editorial. Thank you so much for watching. You should have a great day.